Okay. We have a great show tonight with lots to talk about. If you're joining us live, welcome. I know that Friday night at 8 o'clock can be a difficult time to reserve, and we are grateful when you do it. But if you can't, just don't miss the program. Go to iTunes Store and subscribe. Or if you have an Android or something else, download a podcast app and search for us on there. We are not hard to find. We will be formatting the show a little differently tonight. Tonight we're going to break this up into sections hosted by a different dummy in each one of the sections. Also, we have a special guest tonight, someone we've wanted to introduce you to for a long time, but scheduling has always seemed to get in the way. This is the Dummy Load.
In the world of radio, a dummy load is a device, also known as a dummy antenna or radio frequency termination. It is a device used instead of an antenna, used only for testing a radio transmission. None of what you are about to hear was ever intended to be broadcast. You are now inside the Dummy Load.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Dummy Load. If you're watching on the video, things might look a little bit differently. Dave looks a lot better than usual.
Way hotter.
Way hotter.
I've been working out.
And he
I'm glad
smells
you
better,
noticed.
too. But this is June 13th, Friday the 13th.
Nice.
So hopefully we won't be cursed
Uh-oh.
tonight. And if we are, then we'll just blame it all on our guest. Sitting to my left, it's not actually Dave, it's the lovely Joanne Eldridge.
And all this time I thought you were complimenting me.
No.
Dang it.
No.
For once.
This is Joanna. Say hi, Joanna.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
She's a friend of ours, and she's female, so that helps the show because she can offer a female perspective.
Certainly helps with the stench in here.
You're not
Yeah.
trying to say that girls are different than boys, are you, Dennis?
If they are, I haven't figured it out yet. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Also, as always, we have Mark in the patriotic wing of the studio. And we, of course, have good old Davey Thompson.
Hey, guys.
This is a sort of a special episode. It's the Father's Day episode. And it's going to be, for the most part, the same, but you'll probably hear us talk about dads and stuff at some point. And I think Dave has a little something to say about a dad at the end of the show, but we'll get to that later. I'm going to talk a little bit about the future because I saw something and I got really excited. It is a warp speed ship.
What?
Yeah. Welcome to Star Trek, bitches. Because this is so there's like they've come up with plans. NASA physicists have come up with plans to basically create a warp ship. And it's like the first question you might think if you're a physicist is, wait, Einstein says you can't do that because you can't go faster than light. But the ship has this like method of creating a warp bubble in front of the ship. So it's like it basically moves space around the ship. So it's like technically the ship doesn't even move. It just moves space around it.
What?
I can't.
So is this
picture
like
that.
actual technology or just something they're talking about? Because I could sit here and talk about how, I have this device that I'm going to build that can transport me through the center of the earth.
No, it's not like one of those things where you're like, oh, it'd be great if I had a sandwich that could clean my house. It's not like that. This is actually
They have real science.
This is actually like theoretical sciences. They obviously haven't built it yet, but
Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
you're
Is it
saying-
I figure that would
possible,
be
or is
Mark's.
it just a theory?
oh, it's possible. Yeah, it's. I mean, that's all. It's
Anything's possible in your mind.
So I'm showing a picture of it right now to the audience.
Yeah.
Oh.
And here's the.
So then it does
pretty
exist.
Here's-
sweet. They even called it the
Okay,
Enterprise. How
that's-
cool is that?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say.
How
It's
original,
just a
NASA.
mock-up picture.
It
Brilliant that they would call it
looks
that.
Brilliant.
like
That
the
hasn't
Enterprise.
been built yet.
Which
No.
makes me think
Right.
if it looks like the Enterprise, that it's
There's
not.
too many Star Trek nerds working at NASA. That's what I think.
Well,
Come on.
I mean, that's the point, though, isn't it? Isn't that the way it should be? It's NASA is our space program. If we got a bunch of Star Trek nerds, like, who's going to be more passionate about making things happen?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
But It is all like mathematically theoretical. It's like technically they've determined that this is all possible, but it's like, can they actually make it? Maybe.
We'll find out.
So how does it go? It
We won't
folds
find
space
out.
and
We
it
won't
goes
be
through the
alive when it
folds.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. No, hopefully we will. You know the way technology goes. Like people 50
Moving.
years ago
Yeah, but
probably.
you're talking about like, moving space around.
Yeah, but I mean, they can. Do you know they've pretty much already invented teleportation?
Did you know I can tell the future?
They pretty much invented.
You're gonna live.
They-
I have aliens living in my
They've
closet.
essentially. You're talking about gibberish that doesn't. That's
So
not
are
even real.
you.
I'm not. This is all real. They've invented teleportation. It's just a matter of it takes like an insane, like the power of a star to like transport like one atom.
The only reason why my stuff
Good
is
story.
gibberish and your stuff is real is because a scientist is saying it. The only reason why I don't have a alien in my closet right now is because I haven't found an alien to put in my closet yet. That's the same logic you just
That's
used.
not the same logic. That's not the same logic. What was that?
I have
That's not
no
the same
idea.
The
logic.
only reason why
Alien.
the only reason why we can't
There's no
move
reason
space
to
around
believe that
us
you're
is
stupid
because we
aliens.
haven't figured out a way to actually move space around.
No, they
us.
have figured out the way. I'm telling you, they figured out the way. They just haven't actually done it.
Okay.
I may have figured out a way to make a roast beef
So then
sandwich,
how do they know
but I
they're
just
right?
haven't done it.
How do they know they're right?
I don't know.
They can't know they're right till
How
they
do I
do
know
it
I'm right
and
that
prove
I
it.
can make a roast beef sandwich?
You make one, then you
Yeah.
have proof.
So they're gonna make one.
All right, and then what if it doesn't work?
You're gonna be zipping around the galaxy feeling like an idiot.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I like Earth.
to be
Yeah,
fair,
when you're hanging out on a boat
Well,
in
that would be really
Jupiter's
cool.
sunstorm,
I like seeing
that
or
stuff in
whatever
movies.
that's called,
I-
solar.
There's not going to be enough
storm thing.
electricity soon to build any of that crap.
well,
It's a whole nother topic,
EPA.
ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I knew Mark would turn
Yeah.
into some sort of political.
Mark's trying to jump the gun on his part of the show here.
Actually, I'm not talking about that.
I
Well,
was
maybe.
gonna say, to be fair, we do have a picture of what Dennis is saying, and so
Yeah, I don't have a
There-
picture of your stupid alien.
yeah,
Okay.
that's true. We don't have a picture of Mark's alien.
Tell your
And-
alien to come out of the closet already.
Come on.
Mark, you want to respond to that?
I don't have to answer as my alien's asexual.
He's,
He's an alien.
how does he reproduce?
They have other
Yeah,
means.
you probably
He's
don't
an
know that
alien.
either, do you? They have other means
You know,
by cloning.
No.
Probably.
Speaking of coming out of the closet, and speaking of the future,
great segue.
another thing of the future here, the world's first lesbian cemetery. I know we've
What?
all been waiting a long time for this. It's finally here, guys.
Hey.
They want, it's the right to be buried by whoever you want to be buried by.
I guess. I mean, it's. Oh, I mean,
Okay. Where is this at?
this
All right,
is.
we got a woman
Where
here,
is it?
so we got to tread
I
lightly.
know where this is at.
Hold on, I forgot where it was.
Joanna, you can get
I'm
away
a
with
woman,
saying,
but I'm not a lesbian.
Okay.
So.
but because you're a woman, you can get away with saying a lot more than we can.
Yeah, that's true. It's like.
Well, hey, I mean,
It's like how Germans can talk about Germans. I think it's in Germany. I probably should have found the answer. Yeah, it's in Berlin, Germany.
Oh.
They just opened it April 6th, which is kind of. I mean, it's like I don't really get the point of it. I mean, I guess you want to be buried by your husband, so you want to be buried by.
You can.
Your partner. You can be
You
buried by
can.
anybody.
I know. That's what I don't get. I don't. It's
So
like
it doesn't have to be
I don't
official.
know.
Buy
Make it
two
official.
plots next to each other. That's what all the heterosexuals do.
plus you're dead. You've literally lost the ability to give a crap.
Some people are just sentimental about that crap, though.
Yeah. I wonder if like all the tombstones are gonna be
I'm
like
like, throw me in the dumpster. I don't care.
they're gonna be like cut off plaid tombstones.
Or maybe
And,
it's other people that
now
don't
you're-
want to be buried by lesbians or
Maybe.
gay partners.
So you think it's like a
So they have to
discriminatory thing?
I don't know. Maybe
so
it's
wait a
for the
minute.
other people, but they want to be buried next to them.
so does the graveyard discriminates against anyone who's not a lesbian?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
And
Plus, technically, if you're dead, you're not a lesbian anymore,
okay,
right?
You're like my alien.
man.
Oh,
Completely-
Mark is a
completely
picture of his
Completely
alien.
asexual.
Technically, he is on the same level now as the
Everyone
NASA
is
physicist.
one.
Yeah,
the
I have
same.
proof. I
He's
have the
got a
same proof that
conceptual
NASA
design.
has. I have.
He's finally got a conceptual design to offer us.
No, we don't have high def, so
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
saw a blank pad.
You can imagine.
But you think like famous lesbian celebrity couples will like start like Ellen DeGeneres maybe and Portia de Rossi if they're gonna like
I
buy
doubt it.
plots and stuff.
I don't think
doubt
this
it.
is a big thing for most people, even gay people.
You don't
Well,
think so?
I mean, here's the thing: if you're trying to be considered equal, it's odd to segregate yourself in another.
Yeah,
man.
that's
So
true.
I don't
Even in
think,
death.
But I mean, they have gay bars.
Yeah, but straight people can go there.
That is true.
Mhm.
Yeah, just like a rapper can go to a country bar.
They can't
I've-
actually. They just passed that law last
I've
week.
only heard that straight people can go to gay bars. It's not like I ever got tricked into going to one once.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got tricked like 15 times, and you just. He's like, "Oh, you guys got me again." I guess I'll make the best of
Wait,
it.
is this that same place again? Oh!
Darn it! Can't believe
What we're
you guys
saying
keep taking
is
me to
that
hot pants, and I keep
Father's
not.
Day is coming up, and no, Dave is not a father. Draw your own conclusions.
Mhm. We'll make sure we
Where are you, Mark?
That's true.
we'll keep an eye out.
Dennis.
Or Dennis, or my alien.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for the story. Yeah, actually, the
And
only one who's not a non-parent here is Joanna, and she's obviously proven her non-lesbianship, so she will not be allowed into the cemetery.
Has she,
I won't.
has she proven
And
that?
technically, we can't be
Who knows
lesbians
what
either.
happens in 40 years? I may change.
She might do the back half
I
gay.
may decide to go the other way.
She might just swing over to the other
I
side.
mean,
Try out.
I'll make sure I get buried at the cemetery.
I'm not.
Berlin.
I'm not trying to get.
You
I'm
gotta
not trying to
protest.
get weird here, but proof is a pretty strong word.
What if
Prove-
you were straight and you're running around the cemetery protesting, and then you drop dead? Would they just bury you, or would they be like, "Oh, we got to get her out of here. I think she was straight."
How do they know?
I
don't know.
think the burial is dependent on the payment before death.
Yeah, I'm
So
pretty sure.
whether she gets buried there or not is dependent on whether she paid or not.
Right.
it's quite
Still about money.
it's quite possible from that last statement that Dennis doesn't understand the process of how you end up in the cemetery. You
Yeah.
end up in.
They're like she's wearing a Four Non Blondes t-shirt, but she does have cute shoes. We're not sure.
Yeah, that's right, and long hair.
Uh,
It's not like though that they find dead people, random barriers,
We'll stick them here.
Barriers.
and
Well-
then bury them in the nearest cemetery and carve a stone. You know,
Yeah. Well,
families involved.
who knows?
And it's actually like tens of
It's
thousands
true.
of dollars.
All right.
yeah.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
A lot of
Dennis, you have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. All right. Okay. Well, one thing I did want to talk about was this kind of ties into Father's Day a little bit, and I think probably 3/4 of the people in this room are guilty of this. Keeping your phone in your pocket. I know. Like the three of us, Mark, Dave, and myself, we probably keep our phone in our pocket because we're guys and we don't have anywhere else to put it. Where do you put your phone? In your purse, right?
I put it in my purse. Yeah.
Do you ever go without a purse and put it in your pocket?
Yeah, I'll put it in my back pocket if I'm getting down quickly for something.
Getting down quickly? What does that
Getting.
Like you're getting down like
That's right. I'm getting on the dance floor, so I want to have my phone
Is that
in
what
my
you
back
meant?
pocket.
What do you mean getting down quickly?
Getting out of my car if I'm running an errand and I park and don't
Oh.
want to carry my purse.
I'm
I'll-
glad you didn't mean dancing because that would have
if I'm
seriously
getting down
that would have
quickly.
aged you.
I'm sure I've done that too.
You know,
If I'm rocking a fat beat, y'all.
if I'm going to boogie, of course I'll put my phone in my pocket.
Come on, Dennis, don't be a square. Come out to the bar with me.
See?
Let's go
But,
buggy.
Yeah, so
Whenever-
you put it in your front pocket, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, whenever you put your
girls' front pockets aren't big enough.
your back
Like,
pocket,
yeah.
so when you put it in your back pocket, you ever worried about it lowering your sperm count?
No, I
No?
don't.
Okay.
No.
Well, apparently
It's like she's never even considered.
apparently they've done a study that shows that keeping your phone in your pocket lowers your sperm count by 8%.
Hmm.
8%.
Yeah.
So,
Worth the risk.
So, point is, if you carry your phone in your pocket, don't worry about carrying a condom in there too.
8% is not a drastic decrease.
It's an 8% better chance.
What's the alternative? Carrying a purse?
I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and
But
I'm
that's
gonna go.
everybody.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the 8% on the chin and just keep doing it. I don't care.
Now
Yeah.
that's I don't believe it because
I don't believe
Just
it.
like Mountain Dew.
no because my dad has never carried a cell phone, and I'm the oldest of 9 kids.
Wait, no, that's
Well, that's like
you're
the
confirming
point.
it then.
That doesn't mean he was.
Yeah,
He's got a
but how
high
do they
sperm
prove
count.
that?
because-
No, that doesn't even mean he has a high sperm count. It just means they've not.
We all carry our phones in our
All right.
pocket, and none of us
We
have
won't
kids.
get there.
Somehow I brought this around to my parents.
Yes,
Every
David
time.
has a father
It
with
was
lots of
supposed
kids.
to be a joke.
All of us keep our phone in our pocket,
You
and
got
none of us have
was-
kids. Coincidence? I don't know. It's a sample of 3 people. How could that possibly be inaccurate? That's a huge sample population. It's got to be.
Our
accurate.
entire generation is sterile.
I love Mark and his
So-
outrageous statements. I've got an
Alright.
alien in my closet, and I will not be impregnating
Our
him
entire
her
generation
or it.
is sterile. All right.
Wow. Okay.
That was a good.
I'm just going to
good
go
5
ahead and turn
minutes.
it over to Mark because I think he's on.
Yeah. Me, no, I'm
I think-
last.
I think you had one more story.
Oh.
And you have to tell the story, Dennis.
You want me to tell the
Well,
story?
because I got a picture out, and I've actually accidentally showed the audience for like 30 seconds.
About Miami?
Oh,
Accident-
Michael, where are you?
Okay.
Accidentally. Michael's not here, unfortunately, and so
Everything's
You know.
wrong.
everything's wrong. You know, he's such a brilliant producer, and
Yeah. Well, as you know, this show is based in San Antonio, and our Spurs are winning the series, the finals, NBA Finals, 3-1.
which is anybody else surprised by that?
I am a little bit. I thought it would be pretty tight.
I thought it would be neck and neck. Too.
Yeah, I thought the Heat were going to be kind of really giving us a run for our money.
I really thought that the Heat would win both their games at home, and I mean they beat us at our house, and so I thought, well, crap. The momentum's for them. They're going to win their 2 home games, and hopefully we can catch up, just like last. But I did not, never in my wildest dreams. I think we beat them twice
Right.
at
It
home
was a good surprise.
by like 15 or more points both games.
Yeah,
Good
that's
game.
the thing. It's like they've won 3 games, all of which were blowouts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the other game that they lost, they only lost by
By
2
2
points.
I don't think they've lost by less than 15 in any of their wins.
Maybe not. But
I mean,
yeah, I'd
it's-
have to look that up. But
It's been
yeah, anyway, the story was the Miami Heat fans at the end of the last game started booing, which essentially you can assume they're booing their own team because if they're booing, they're kind of booing the whole game, which is
right.
they're booing who's losing. And then they all just started leaving early. And
There's
it's,
the timely picture that
yeah, it's
didn't make
just
sense to the viewer earlier.
Yeah.
it's just swarms of people pouring out of
Leaving.
the stadium early when the game's not even over.
Although, to be fair, the one thing that their fans do better than ours is
You
they
do.
do accessorize.
The accessories?
Because when you go to the game, you're
We
already,
know a girl with a Spurs tattoo.
you're paying like $800 for your ticket because it's the finals, and they put the color T-shirt on the seat, and so everybody who has a seat gets a free T-shirt. And we had what was called on our last home game like the
I
blackout.
didn't know they did that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It was called the blackout. All our shirts were
Right.
black, and our crowd did not wear them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a single person that is not wearing the
Mhm.
white provided T-shirt.
Well, it's because most people are already wearing black at our Spurs games. Black T-shirts.
Well, no,
Yeah, I
that's
don't feel like
shirts.
I don't feel like our Spurs fans have any shortage of gear.
Yeah.
You know.
No. I'm not saying they do. I'm just
Just
saying
all
that
consistency.
go back and look at the blackout
Mm-hmm.
quote. And we didn't participate wearing the shirt that was provided like the Heat does.
Hmm.
Okay? So anyway, congratulations to our San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
And
So
I really
the
hope if we win on
Yeah.
Sunday, we win the whole thing.
I think it would be great. I'd like to win it on the weekend because everybody will probably be around more.
Will people riot?
I hope
No.
not.
I don't
That'd be
think
that'd be
so.
a big old smudge on
There's a lot of
the happiness of it all.
Celebrations in the street.
Plus, that goes
That'd be
sort of
cool if they
against
win
the
at home.
character of the Spurs. I mean, the Spurs
Yeah.
aren't big celebrators. They're
Mhm.
all classy folks.
And do you know it's
so-
never
Mhm.
been done in history that team has come back 3-1 in the finals ever?
Yep.
I thought it happened once.
I don't know. LeBron James was
Mm.
interviewing today, and he even said it never
No,
happened
they
before.
said it's never happened.
Really?
I
And
I
I
know
thought it
it's
happened
never.
one time.
I know it's never happened when it's been 3-0 and had somebody win 4 games in a row.
yeah,
But I don't.
no, not even
3-1
3-1.
even?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Wow.
But also, they set a record for like the worst beatings in finals history
That's
ever.
awesome.
Yeah,
Just makes my day.
yeah, I know that great. It is weird though. That, like the two teams that are in the finals, like they seem to be very unevenly matched. Even though I think they're, I mean, the Heat is obviously a very good team, but I don't know
I
what's.
thought they were better than us.
I don't know
I
what the
really went
problem
into
is.
it thinking they were going to win.
Anyway,
So-
go Spurs, go!
That's
And
right.
hopefully by the time we do our next show, we'll be telling you about the win.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for your section of the show.
All right.
Yay!
Now we
I'm
go-
gonna turn it over to.
We go to our commercial break.
Oh, you want to do a commercial? Okay.
Yeah, we got a commercial break.
Okay.
This
I wasn't aware of this. We got a new
This
sponsor.
We do?
15
Sponsor?
minutes of the
Okay.
show was brought to you by.
It's anal beads. I'm gonna be so pissed.
It is not anal beads. It is the coolest pen you will ever own. Creative
Really?
design.
This commercial
Really?
sucks.
The creative
I
design.
feel like this commercial is not even scripted like commercials.
The
usually
creative
are.
design could be a mobile artist's best friend, or it could just be the coolest pen in your office drawer.
Woohoo.
The Scribble pen has a unique capability, a color sensor that allows the user to scan any object around them and then immediately doodle in that same color.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe it either.
This is not a scenario like we had a couple weeks ago.
But did NASA create
There
this?
was a
Yeah, I bet Mark's closet alien has one.
No, listen. Love the shade of the grass in your yard or the flowers in your garden pot? What about the sports team jersey color? The pen can scan those colors and store them, so if you want to use the same shade again, the ink combination will be identical. Using technology similar to a color printer, the pen has cartridges in cyan, yellow, magenta, black, and white that can be combined to make any color.
Man, I love science.
This is real. Yeah, the
We got
company.
spaceships.
Cool.
The company.
We got 3D printers. We got pens that can just do whatever.
First commercial ever interrupted. The company has also designed a stylus with the same color sensor technology that allows users to create their own palette on their smart tablets as well.
In my defense, this is more like an infomercial. This is pretty long.
Here is the disclaimer. Scribble technology is not available for sale just yet, but eager artists, parents eyeballing these for their creative kids or doodlers just looking for a more exciting way to make notes. Anyway, it's not available yet. Once it's released, the pen will cost about $150 a pop, and the stylus version for smartphones or tablets will cost just under $80.
That's not bad.
Why do we want it?
Now,
Because you can write different colors. You don't have to buy
Okay.
3 pens. You can just buy one.
and it's the exact thing. So that really masculine blue that you have lining your neck right now, I could scan that with the pen and then draw that on my own neck.
You probably would.
Yeah, Mark, remember that time you were writing on black and white paper and you're like, oh, I really like the color of that black ink. I wish I could exactly match it for this next sentence. Remember how desperate you were to have it exactly matching and how important that is?
No.
I didn't think so.
The commercial break is over. Now, back to Mark.
Okay.
Wait, me? I thought I was last.
I'm next. Dang it.
The commercial guy's terrible. We need a
Okay.
commercial guy.
Yes, I am ready. Okay, I'm going to start off my section of the show with a joke.
Oh, God.
I'm known for my
I thought
jokes.
the commercial was the joke.
I'm famous for my jokes, and I'm known for them.
I don't think you're
However,
famous for them. or
this
no.
is not a joke told by me. This is a joke told by Seth Meyers, and I would like to get some feedback on this joke, okay? We're going to
Sure.
play it. Let's go.
And here we go.
I had turned the sound off on my computer so it didn't disrupt us, and that is,
And here it comes.
you know,
This is the joke he was talking
your
about.
version of filler.
He tricked you guys into thinking that he was going to actually play something.
Dennis, your version.
Tell me about another pen.
It's a funny joke.
No, stop it.
You can just say the joke.
This story is nuts. A man in Arizona was arrested for unlawfully discharging a firearm after he tried to shoot the moon with a handgun. Well, on the bright side, at least he was shooting at something white.
Let's hear the crowd.
That's the bright side. Another
Okay. So now, here's the thing I don't understand this joke. This was like...
Where was it again?
this
I think
was
that's
Seth, This was
important.
Seth Meyers on his late night show.
Where did he say that was? Because I think that's important.
where what was the guy who actually
Yeah.
it was somebody in New Mexico, I think he said,
Oh.
got arrested for shooting at the moon. He unlawfully discharged his firearm.
Uh-huh.
It was at the moon, and then the punchline is, well, at least he was shooting at something white. Now,
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I get the joke if it was like in the South where it's like, oh, they don't like black people or something, they're racist, but I don't.
no, it's this. He was a Mexican guy shooting at something white. This was a.
Huh.
And I'm like, that doesn't
Really?
work. I mean, 'cause
mean-
imagine if we were to just switch it around a little bit and say, well, so and so was.
Well, he was really shooting at the sky with black. Yeah.
Sure, it was nighttime.
I mean, it's
But
nighttime.
he was shooting at the moon, and I said, what if he said, he unlawfully discharged his gun shooting at some black mold outside of his house?
Is it because of all
Anything.
the like border jumpers in Mexico?
I didn't think you. It's a Mexican who
Who
shot
says
at
it?
the
He
moon.
said it was a Mexican?
No, he didn't say.
I don't
it.
think
I don't
we
think he
know.
said it was a Mexican.
He didn't.
But
No, it says a man in Arizona was awfully. He didn't say what the man was. I think that's maybe what it is. I think maybe it was.
Dennis, listen to it again. You
Okay.
don't even get the joke.
You don't get this.
You get it.
I
This story is nuts. A man in Arizona was arrested for unlawfully discharging a firearm after he tried to shoot the moon with a handgun. Well, on the bright side, at least he was shooting at something white.
It doesn't say the race of the shooter,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
saying at least he's shooting at
Yeah,
something
no, I get
right.
that.
It implies that, well,
Yeah.
hey, at least he's shooting at something white, meaning, assumingly, white people. At least he's shooting at the white.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Is
saying.
that
Like
not-
maybe
not-
What
maybe he's
else would it
saying
mean?
maybe he's saying usually
Yeah.
people are shooting at border jumpers, so at least he's shooting at something white this time. But I don't know why that's a good thing
but
that
that's
he
the
was shooting
thing.
at something
Imagine
white.
if the joke. That was my point. Is imagine if the joke was man in Arizona unlawfully discharged his weapon shooting a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell. But at least he was shooting. Like that he would have lost his job this week.
Yeah, I don't know if I get the joke really fully. It's a weird joke.
It is a weird
it's-
joke, and it's
wasn't
weird because he's a white guy.
necessary.
But
Yeah. I think the whole audience like went crazy and laughing because they
Hey, white
they know
people
it's what they know they're supposed to be laughing because it's like, oh, he said something and it's like
Yeah, we're
it's
supposed
like
it's like,
to
hey,
laugh
white
at
people are
every joke.
racist.
it's kind of like, oh yeah, I get it too, you get it too, right? Yeah, we all get it. Yeah, that's a good joke.
mob
you know?
mentality.
Yeah, the thing is, the joke, I'll explain it for you if you don't get it. The idea is white people are racist, and so we should be the ones getting shot at as opposed to another group who have been.
That's what you get from that
Yes.
joke? Really?
How do you not get that? I would be very interested in another take.
Well, we gave you our takes, but I mean, I don't see why yours is any more plausible.
Wow.
I
What do
mean,
you think, Mark?
where do you?
Oh,
I think that the race of the shooter was intentionally left out of the joke.
Yeah.
Under
That's irrelevant.
under the no, I think that is relevant
Yeah, I think
because
so
the
too.
joke doesn't make sense if you know that it's a minority man.
Or if
That
it's a white
shot the
person.
gun.
It doesn't matter. It could be a white
Now it
person.
matters that it's a white person.
Why? This
I
is
think it matters.
incredible to me that you guys.
Because if it matters that to me,
you guys understand humor.
You can't establish
I
racism
thought-
in the joke if you don't know what race the person is.
Yes, you can, because if you say at least he was shooting at something white.
It's a big difference, though, if it's a white person shooting at something white or
No,
a
it's
black
not,
person
because
shooting at something white.
he's saying white is good to shoot at. How is that not racist? If you were to say that about insinuate that any other race was good to shoot at, you would be crucified.
So you're assuming that the collective sort of idea that people are cheering for is like, yeah, shoot white people?
Yeah, as opposed to any other.
You think people are
the good
cheering
one.
for the idea of shooting white people?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Mm.
What could it be then? What is the joke?
I'm saying I don't get it.
If
Just
the-
because I don't understand doesn't mean your answer is right.
It is right. If the punchline is at least he was shooting at something white, that means to me that the punchline is at least he's shooting at white people as opposed to another race.
Let's see if we can get Seth Meyers on the show. And
Well,
figure
he'll
this out.
never-
yeah, but
He'll never admit to it. But that's the only way it makes sense. If it's anything else, it doesn't.
but
make
what
sense.
about all the other controversial comedians.
Oh no, I don't have a problem with him saying it. That would
Okay.
have been my next point, but you guys didn't
I
even
think
get
I
the
get
joke.
with you, Davey.
I
yeah.
understand
Like,
what you're
oh,
saying.
it's okay because it was
100%.
white.
At least it's white.
So now what's the
But-
problem?
Well, my point
It's just
was,
weird.
if you were to say he was shooting at black raccoons, but at least he was shooting at something black,
Okay.
he would have been fired.
All right, let me rephrase what you're saying, and maybe it'll tell me if
Okay.
this makes more sense. It's not that people are cheering for somebody white getting shot, but they're cheering that it's not a minority getting shot.
I think they're cheering of. That's what's the.
It's
funny
not like,
punchline.
yay, we hate white people.
No, no,
It's
no.
more like, yay, they're not attacking a minority.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're. I mean, hey, white people are the. I mean, it's like, oh, look at they're the villains anyway.
Okay.
And so it's okay to make a.
That-
It's okay to make a racist joke against white people.
That's where maybe I didn't understand what
My
you're saying.
point is the joke was racist against white people, but we take it in stride. We think it's funny. I even thought it was funny because it was just such an odd punchline.
I don't
It was
know.
like, I mean, I didn't think it was a very clever joke, but
I think it's a stupid
I'm
joke.
not offended by it. But I'm fascinated at the idea of if he said, so the guy in Arizona unlawfully shot a firearm at the Koran,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but at least it was, you know, like there's nothing he could have said. If you're gonna do a racist thing, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
I know, I guess they thought-
he probably would be fired by, what is he on,
Right.
NBC?
I don't know who he's on.
Whatever.
Probably.
Obviously, they thought it was okay.
But I think comedy in general has had a lot more leniency with the racial jokes. I mean, have you ever watched Family Guy? They still make fun of Muslims and black
Yeah.
people and Asians and white people and Christians. They make fun of everybody. They don't get in trouble.
Well, I honestly didn't have a problem with the joke, and I don't want to censor Seth Rogen or Seth Meyers. So excuse
Seth
me.
MacFarlane? Oh, Seth. Oh, okay.
This
I thought
guy
you were
was
talking
Seth
about
Meyers,
Family Guy.
and I don't think there should be outrage over it because I'm annoyed when there's outrage the other way.
I think the more
There's so many of this on so many shows.
I just think it's amazing that you. I mean, Family Guy does do some stuff,
I think the more
but Family Guy also covers them. If you watch their joke, they do something else to cover it. They're covering themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Not
I think
outright.
the more ridiculous the forum is, the more it's accepted because everybody's like, okay, Family Guy is obviously just a ridiculous cartoon, so they're gonna say crazy stuff. Seth Meyers, it's like he's a late night talk show host. It's like he's kind of, he's wearing a suit, he's talking in front of a lot of people on national TV, so maybe he's not gonna have quite the leniency as a cartoon on, TV.
Well, you guys, you didn't follow my train of thought. On
I
that
didn't
one.
because you worded it
It's a
weird.
stupid joke.
You made it seem like people were excited about white people getting killed, when really what you're saying is they're excited that it's not a minority getting killed.
I don't know why.
Why they even
Which
included
would be
it, right?
white people.
You know,
Right.
Like they obviously thought it was okay to
yeah.
include in their show.
Here's the thing. That's my point is to discuss. Is not. I wasn't necessarily saying one way or the other, but this is a racist joke, and it's racist against white people,
Mhm.
said by a white person, and the crowd goes nuts. That to me is a very odd scenario because if I were to insert any other color to the punchline of the joke, it would be taken as deliberately racist, and they would be apologizing and stumbling over themselves in apologies, and they wouldn't. And so I thought it'd be funny to come up with different things, but you guys didn't.
I think
We
this
blew
is
it,
great.
but-
Well,
No, you didn't
but-
blow it. It just
Michael, our producer, who has joined our live chat, which you can join if you're watching the live feed on YouTube, below the video, and he told me to tell you that he agrees with you, and Dennis, you're an idiot.
whoa, that's.
All right.
I added the last part.
I figured you did.
Oh, Mark added the last part. I was like, geez, Michael, and geez, Mark, why'd you?
But you understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
and Joel.
Is there any chance they added
Joel
the
agrees too.
computer-generated clap? You used to hear in the 90s on comedy shows that maybe
Yeah.
people didn't actually clap, but it was just.
I think they did. It probably goes back to that whole kind of mob mentality we were talking about on the last show. It's like it's like, oh, this is supposed to be funny, right? Let's all clap because
Yeah.
that's what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Comfortable. They put people in an uncomfortable.
I agree with what you're saying now. You worded it weird to where
All right,
it
well,
sounded like it was a white hating
I've
thing.
got to work on my delivery. The point wasn't that the crowd hated white people. It was just very odd to me that joke worked.
Yeah, no, I get
And,
that. Yeah, you're right.
It would not have been allowed any other way.
No.
I mean, you saw what we talked last week
No.
about. What's his name? Jonah Hill. What he had to do just because he shot off.
Yeah,
his
I
mouth
had to
to
go
a
on a
paparazzi.
whole
And
apology
he went
tour.
everywhere and just I don't deserve to live.
My heart is broken for what
Yeah.
I've said.
I will never be the same. I deserve the death
I
penalty.
know Seth Meyers is probably gonna have to do some of that too.
No, he won't.
He's gonna have to go to rehab
No,
for.
because we're not offended. I mean, we don't care.
I mean, that's how often people go to rehab anymore. It's like you have an angry outburst. It's like you gotta go to anger rehab, or you go to. It's like everything. There's a rehab for everything. Celebrities go to so much rehab these days. I'm gonna go open a rehab facility in Hollywood, just like generic rehab for everything.
Well, speaking of sensitivity, and that was what the general topic was about last story, or at least was supposed to be about. In Arizona, yet again, 2 school board members are outraged because their yearbook at the high school, which cost $75 a pop, was censored. The seniors put a quote by their picture. They have their statement or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the school board found them to be offensive. And so they spent like weeks going over all 1,000 yearbooks and putting stickers over all of the seniors' final quotes.
That doesn't surprise me. I'll tell you why in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Reportedly, among the offending covered comments was one from a Latina student: "Every Mexican needs a white best friend." Another apparently censored comment reads, "Come get you some, Turtle Man." As if that was the quote done by Turtle Man.
Probably.
He quoted Turtle Man. Maybe he is. I don't know. Another student message reportedly stated that she was, quote, "drunk on you and high on summertime." So that's lyrics to a song that she liked, and that was her quote. And the high school purposely went in and blocked them out even after it was printed.
I wouldn't do that.
And, well, here's the thing. I mean, the kids, I don't understand it. Why are you censoring it?
Oh,
That's
I would have
what
burned them all.
Well,
right
why
in
didn't
front of
they
the
edit
kids.
before it went to production?
Well, that was another argument.
Well, that
They-
was
they didn't need
one
to. They shouldn't have approved it. But why? These were not comments that are. Did any of those comments strike you as something that just couldn't be read?
I think that's inappropriate for a high school yearbook. Yeah.
Really?
I'm disappointed that kids would even put that in as a
Well,
quote and
I may
that
be-
they would even
Yeah.
submit it.
I may be disappointed too, but that's what they say.
No,
Don't
school's
they have
not.
a right to say it or no?
No.
Not for the yearbook. You don't get to. If
No.
if they tell you you can put whatever.
No,
you
do you have a right to walk around naked in your school? No.
You
Schools
know,
have
I
dress
think-
code. They
There-
have
It's just a
standards
comment.
of.
The reason I said that it doesn't surprise me is because I don't know if you've seen any of these. There's like websites just for yearbook pictures and the funny quotes that kids put on. It's become like a thing, like to
Okay.
get like a funny. I saw one where
Okay.
a girl said something about like, oh, my favorite elements are or something like this, and then she listed all these elements in the periodic
Oh,
table
yeah, I've
where
heard
the
of that.
letters say
Well,
like back that ass up or something.
There's a difference between like quoting Ronald Reagan and having that censored,
Right.
you know, because of your liberal school administrators. There's a difference between that and saying, "Hey, summer's gonna be great. Let's have sex every day."
Yeah, like here's one.
Yeah, I would censor that.
Dustin Katz, 2 in the pink and 1 in the stink. Life is an adventure. Explore. It's
Okay,
like
gross.
people. I know it is gross, but my point is, it is gross, and people manage to get that by. So it's like these high school students, they got potty minds. You know, they're just like, oh, it's gonna be so funny. I'm gonna get the funniest quote on the.
That's
They're
true.
they're just trying to outdo each other
Yeah.
now, and it's like
But
I
who
want to
do
get
you-
on that website where
Okay.
they put out those funny quotes.
But who do you benefit by censoring it? Does it protect the reputation of your school?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're trying.
That's
I mean,
fair.
Yeah, you're protecting
I'm
the
fine.
student.
And
You're
you-
protecting
and
the student too. Like,
They shouldn't be protected.
It shows
if you're
them.
18 years old, graduating high school, and you want some stupid mark like that
Yeah,
on you, then
No, I don't think it's protection against a stupid mark. I think it's showing them you can't always just.
that stuff
No,
comes
I'm not
back
going to say
to
that
haunt
because
you
you're going
later in
to
life.
use that against me. But there's a reasonable expectation
knows
of
me so
appropriate
well.
of appropriate speech and behavior.
Mhm.
Okay, and so this is not it's not appropriate for the high school yearbook.
Okay.
You don't.
and schools are always
Say
going to
stuff
protect
like
their code
that.
of conduct and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
you know.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a violation
Mhm.
of freedom of speech. That's just
I thought
And
being a
that's
decent
life.
person and encouraging your children
the
to
yearbook-
be decent people.
The yearbook is the school's property, so they can manage it as they choose.
Well, I also think there's a difference between what Dennis said and what I read.
What's that? Why? How?
What you said
Why you
to
keep
me
saying
was
I'm wrong today?
no. I didn't say you're wrong. I'm saying what you read as a high school yearbook example of what got in
Yeah.
was different than what they're reporting at this 1,000 graduating class in Arizona. You got Luke Bryan lyrics. What? I don't. What?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care if there's
Yeah, it
lyrics. I
depends.
care about appropriate.
Yeah, I would say if it's harmless, then they shouldn't be censoring it. You should be able to say whatever you want as long as it's harmless.
Yeah,
but
well, maybe it's not. Maybe they're
stuff that's dirty, like what I said, yeah, they should.
the fact that it's in the news and it's the school board members who are upset gives me the impression that they were not overtly breaking the rules, and these were not things that were saying 4-letter words, and these were high school students making their statement, and they just got all redacted.
It might have been like an overcompensation thing. There might have been one that was inappropriate, so they're like, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to
They
censor them
censored
all now.
of
It could
them,
be.
right.
I don't know if they censored them all, but they censored a bunch of them.
Yeah,
Anything that was even close to something.
yeah.
I don't know if every single one.
They
was.
always overcorrect, and
So very cool story out of Elephant Butte Lake in New Mexico.
it's one of my favorite buttes.
The reason it's called that is because the big island in the middle sort of looks like an elephant, and it does. It's the craziest thing. I'm showing a picture of it right now, and the whole left side of this mountain looks like the big elephant ear and the big trunk. It looks like there's a big, huge elephant head in this natural formation in the rock. So, courtesy of a bachelor party in full tilt on the premise. So I guess there's a bachelor party that went out to this island in the middle of the lake and were partying on
That's
this
an awesome
island.
idea for a bachelor party.
That is a awesome idea.
That's what I want to do now for my bachelor party if I ever get married.
It says
You want to go
as-
digging for fossils.
So the quote
Yeah.
from a quote from one of the partiers is, as we are cruising by, we see this large tusk, or what seems to be a large tusk, coming out of the ground about a good 3 or 4 inches out. And these guys who are out on the island dug up a skull of like a mammoth.
Whoa.
And so they never found that. There was never any mammoth bones around here. And it's like somehow the lake that's called Elephant Butte and has a big natural formation that just happens to be called that because the rock looks like an elephant. They found elephant mammoth stuff underneath there.
Huh. Maybe
Proof
prehistoric humans shaped it on purpose to look like an elephant because they knew it was dense with elephants.
Nope.
No?
Neil Mammon is right. There is a God.
Okay.
And that's proof.
That's proof?
Yes. Argue that.
Coincidence. There. Done.
All right. I
That's
think
not that big of a
it's,
coincidence.
that is
You can probably find skeletons of birds and
Nope.
and
Is that really an
wild
elephant?
animals and it's a
And,
mammoth. Yeah.
It says it says here that it is paleontologists told KRQE the fossils appear to be of a stegomastodon, a 9-foot-tall, 13,000-pound prehistoric elephant
13,000.
that, according to the University of Nebraska State Museum, became extinct about 1.3 million years ago, or Bible College, hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. Hundreds of, yeah.
I mean, this guy's been gone for all.
Wonder how long the island's been there,
Wow.
because I'm sure at one point the island was either covered in water or just land. It wasn't the same water level the whole time.
Dennis, you're not talking science. Just kidding. All right.
Started.
I mean, hundreds of years ago when those bones first showed. I wonder what the water level was at.
So the
Maybe. Maybe. You know what? They say elephants are really smart. Maybe the elephant saw that it was shaped like one of them, and they're like, "Oh, that's probably our lesbian cemetery. Let's go plop down there," because everybody knows all elephants are lesbians. So they all went over there, and they're feeling a little sick. They got a little elephant cold. It's like, we better go out to Elephant Island. That's our cemetery, and we'll plop down and die.
finally some science.
Yes.
It took you a minute, but you got there.
Very
I
possible.
came around.
Good job,
I came
Dennis.
around.
Well, this has concluded the Davy Monroe Thompson part of the show.
Thank
God.
God.
And
Oh,
the
my
next
God.
section
Your
is
turn.
brought to you by the same exact scribble pen that was on the last one.
Really?
No.
If we have to hear that, actually, let's hear that exact commercial again.
I don't think I could do this.
I don't think you could. Let's move on.
It may be the coolest pen
No.
you've ever owned, or just the best pen in
Nobody
your
cares.
life. All right.
I want to
This
do
is
a
a cool
commercial.
pen.
Mark, save
Yeah.
us.
All right. Well, this new format of the show is new for all of us.
It's experimental format.
It's experimental, but I found about it officially yesterday.
Such-
So,
Why are you giving disclaimers?
because
do-
if
just
it
do the-
sucks, I want people to know why. It's your fault. That's why.
That's fine.
No, all I have is 3 stories here. I tried to find something maybe people wouldn't have heard of,
Okay.
but I didn't have a lot of time.
all
That's the
right.
disclaimer. So if I continue to do this in the future, I'd like to find even more and more,
Sure.
you know.
They're
Got it.
probably good
Dig
enough
into
that
the
we wouldn't
depths
have
of
known
the
the
internet.
difference, but now you've lowered the bar
Oh,
so
yeah.
much we don't even care anymore.
Okay. So, did you guys hear about this? A new study finds that fat is not bad for you.
Well, you're supposed to have a certain amount of fat.
So I'm the healthiest guy in the room.
For 30 plus years, scientists and health professionals have been telling us that fat causes heart disease, saturated fat in particular, right?
Mhm.
So we need to
Okay.
cut out all of this bad fat.
Well, you have to have a certain amount of fat, though.
And everybody just took it.
There's
But it-
good fat.
Well, right. There's good fat and bad fat.
Okay.
And basically what they're saying now is fat is just fat, and it's really not that bad.
Bad fat's not
Just-
even bad fat.
Moderation like everything else.
Hmm.
So 30 years of convincing people that you're going to die from this fat and we need to... Now, there was no proof.
Right, keep
Scientists
talking.
were
I'm going
wrong.
to order a pizza.
So after reviewing nearly 80 studies involving more than 500,000 people, researchers at Cambridge University found that saturated fat doesn't cause heart disease. The study published in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine also shows that good fats do not lower the risk of heart attack. So basically, fat is just fat. Eat it in moderation, but it's not any worse or any better than what it is.
That's probably great news for you. Because girls love chocolate. I was just gonna
Because
say.
clearly you
That
like your
doesn't-
fat,
doesn't
Joanna.
matter.
No,
People-
she obviously
people-
cares about her looks because she looks great. But
Oh, thank you. People are gonna eat whatever they want to eat.
So I don't know though if we're so wrong on such a
don't know.
basic
That's
concept
confusing.
of health as fat. Maybe we should question our scientists at NASA or maybe the global warming alarmist scientists.
the scientists at NASA are a little bit worried about trying to get over to Jupiter right now. They don't need to be
they
worried
don't
about
care.
fat.
I'm
don't
pretty
care.
sure that fat's unhealthy because whenever I hang out with someone who's fat,
No,
they,
no, no, no,
they
no,
do
no, no,
anything.
no,
They-
no. Dave,
I
no,
think
nobody said fat was healthy, but there is no link between saturated fat and heart disease.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody's body processes it differently.
Okay,
Like,
maybe not heart disease, but definitely like
It contributes to
Everything else.
obesity.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good stuff. That was good to know.
just eat whatever you want.
All right.
Eat in moderation. All
Yes.
things in moderation. Live
Deal.
free,
Got it.
people.
deal.
Okay. So the next, did you know that volcanoes actually have the potential to melt ice?
I would.
It's
assume that
astonishing,
they
isn't
did.
it? It's
I would
crazy.
assume that they
This
did.
is science, Dennis.
Did you know you can
This
heat
is
up
like-
a burrito in the microwave?
This is groundbreaking science, okay? So a new study by researchers at the University of Texas, Austin, right here, our home state, found that the West Antarctic ice sheet is collapsing due to geothermal heat from volcanoes, not man-made global warming.
All right. That means we can just keep burning greenhouse gases
Yeah.
and driving our H2s
Yeah.
and other stuff.
No,
that we
it
do.
just
I don't
means that
have an
stopping that won't really do anything necessarily.
Well,
There's no proof of.
We know that anyway because
What will stop global warming is extinguishing all the volcanoes.
Yeah, let's do that.
There's proof of that.
You know what we should do?
Hmm.
We should make some really big corks.
Just
And-
cap them off.
Yeah, just cork them.
That's a great idea. Okay.
I've
Sorry.
got a lot of wine corks. I have a bunch of wine corks
Yeah.
from
Glue them together.
from wine. Yeah, you just glue them. We'll make one
Ah.
super cork. We'll try it on
Super
one
cork.
volcano, see how it goes.
Mark, what does NASA say about lava's ability to melt cork?
That's-
It's
They're-
untested. They're not sure.
Boom.
They refuse
Yeah.
to comment at
Since
this
there
time.
is no answer, then mine must be right. Is that how you're allowed to
Wow,
go?
we've come full circle with that.
Yeah.
That is cool.
We're back in the realm of science. I like it.
All right.
Okay, so I've got one more, which is
Alright.
good because we're running out of time here. But so is the U.S. government bringing illegal alien children into the country?
Yeah, one of them is in your closet.
Clearly.
He's not a child.
Okay. He looks full-grown aliens.
Okay, so according to a statement by the National Association of Former Border Patrol Agents, they believe the current influx of illegal alien children, and I quote, is not a humanitarian crisis. It is a predictable, orchestrated, and contrived assault on the compassionate side of Americans by her political leaders that knowingly puts minor illegal alien children at risk for purely political purposes.
Just alien children? That's where I'm confused. Like,
So you've heard
since when do kids come over just by themselves?
exactly, but
Exactly.
there's all these children now showing up here. Nobody knows what to do.
Like
They're in like a
60
state of
Like, they're
emergency in
orphans? They got-
Arizona.
There's like a bunch
No
of parents.
families?
Like,
So why all these minors without parents, without families? That's never been a
probably a
trend
bunch
in
of,
illegal
like,
immigration.
parents at the borders with giant slingshots just
So-
shooting their kids over here.
Well, they're alleging that the current administration and powers that be are actually helping bring them in as a political move.
So
They're
Brad
also
and Angie
saying-
can adopt them?
They're also saying that TV commercials are running in like Guatemala, saying if you can get your kid here, then the parents can come too.
Yeah, you get a free meal.
And they're starting to investigate FEMA orders for certain supplies that were being placed before, all this started happening, which would suggest that they were anticipating this. So I don't have much
Huh.
info on that, but
Well, that's kind of a big topic.
that is a big
It
It
topic.
is.
We should revisit that next week. So
Well, we can't count on that guy in Arizona to shoot him.
get to work.
It's only shooting at white guys.
Yeah.
Or white things. Anything.
White things.
Fences, picket, primarily.
Yeah.
Golf balls.
I wonder if that guy in Arizona was a father.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because if he was a father, he would have a very special day coming up on Sunday.
I wonder how that day got started.
I wonder how that day got started too. We're gonna do a round the rosy, and Joanna has got our history question of the week. The history question of the week is, Joanna, if you want to go over and sit where Mark's sitting.
Sure.
The history question of the week is, where did Father's Day come from? What was... Actually, I don't know if that's what you're going to talk about, so I'll just say when
did it
What
start?
are three fun facts about Father's Day?
How did it come to be? What was the guy's name who started it? How many pets did he have? I assume you have the answers to all of these.
Yeah, and his race.
What was his wife's name?
So go over to the patriotic wing, Joanna, and we're going to feature you for a minute.
Let's have some featuring music. Good feature music. All right.
You look great over there, Joanna.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
You're
The flag suits
making
you.
that flag look good.
My
America.
My computer looks way sexier too.
That's it. It's a sexy computer, though.
I got her phone over here. She does not put it in her pocket.
Oh.
Does she have a
Hey.
passcode though?
Well, that's good.
Because
At
this could be our new segment.
least she'll have a good sperm count over there.
Okay,
All right,
guys.
Joanna,
the
Right.
question
What-
was,
The non-fathers.
Where
in the
did-
room.
Joanna's got some...
where
sorry.
did Father's Day? Where it come from?
Yeah,
That's
how did it
right,
start?
yeah.
You know,
on what? Tell
I'm
us
just going to
whatever
really
you know about
wreck my Father's
Day.
Day message at the end because I assume it was something else.
Okay, so it was started in 1910, first in Spokane, Washington, at the YMCA. Way to go.
It's all right. Keep going.
And someone at the YMCA decided, hey, let's put on a Father's Day event once a year to complement Mother's Day. It's had some traction for a couple of years, and they thought that maybe they could introduce it to Congress, and it got shot down for several decades and was finally approved during Richard Nixon's days, 1972.
I'm surprised they would shoot it down, being that there are so many fathers.
Yeah, there's hundreds.
That's like saying, hey, let's have people with
Yeah.
brown hair day. It's like that you think you'd have a lot of
Right,
supporters.
right. So those are the fun facts. So
Nice.
Father's Day has not been around that long.
Huh.
Now, I did not, Mother's Day has been around much longer, I think.
So 72, you said?
72.
Okay, well, I guess none of us. But I was going to say it would be conceivable that some of us, which not in our case, but like if we were a little bit older, that some dads today like if you have a kid,
Remember the first one.
yeah, like if you have a kid who's 42 or more, then it's like you're probably excited one year. It's oh cool, there's a special day for me now.
Well, it's also probably following the baby boomer generation, maybe.
Yeah, it's like oh, I have a whole bunch of reasons to celebrate.
Lots of
Hippie
fathers.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the fun facts about Father's
Yeah,
Day.
that's a good fun fact.
Very
I'm
cool.
gonna tell my dad about that.
Did you guys, are you guys planning on calling your dads? Do you have any plans?
No, I'm not gonna call him.
All right.
Yes, of course.
Mark's not.
Yeah, well, we'll have
I'll call him.
we'll have like a celebratory
I got a
barbecue
gift on
when I go out
Amazon.
there. My dad lives in California, so I go out there a month from today actually, and then I'm gonna celebrate by letting him make me some of his amazing ribs.
Very cool. Can I come?
Good
No.
dad.
I'm gonna eat them all. Those
All
ribs are
right.
pretty amazing though.
Well, Mark, you got the camera over here?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Today I had to look up a hashtag because I did not know what it meant.
Really? You don't know what hashtag was?
Dennis had posted an old photo of himself with some old friends accompanied by a hashtag TBT, which after Googling, I found out meant Throwback Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I recently had found a silly picture of him that I thought I would share, but the picture was on his birthday party. But the problem is I had to have some sort of a relevance to the conversation. So I was, looked up Throwback Thursday. I have this other picture I wanted to post. I have, where to make the tie. So I looked up what day was Dennis born. Well, Dennis was born on a Thursday.
Was I? I didn't even know that.
And we were celebrating your birthday. And so I put that up, and it was a brilliant tie and made my picture very relevant to the conversation.
I thought it was a bit of a stretch.
Well, today is Friday the 13th. My dad was born on March 13th on a Friday. I don't know about you, but Father's Day is harder for me than Mother's Day, especially from the perspective of a kid who's all grown up. I think it's harder for some because Dad has transitioned so many times in our perspective. He was our hero first, and we knew that nothing could hurt us because Dad would just fix it. He did things with us that meant the world and made lasting memories. My dad went through a phase when I was young where he was spending time with each one of us intentionally early before school. And he asked us, hey, think of something that you'd like to do, throw a football, ride a bike, something we could do with Dad. And I was probably, somewhere between 9 and 11, around that age. And across the street from us, we lived right across the street from a lake, and there was an inlet that had no flow, and so it had totally swamped over. It had algae, and it was a gross swamp full of frogs and turtles and stuff like that. And it's actually very dangerous if a kid were to fall in there.
Get sick.
And we had a storm, and a tree, big, huge tree, fell all the way across. It wasn't a huge tree around, but it was tall enough to go all the way from one side of the swamp to the other, right across the middle. And so I got the brilliant idea, Dad, I think I know what I want to do. Let's go over there and see if we can walk across the tree and across the swamp. To which my dad replied, no, there's branches coming up out of the tree. There's no way to know if it's stable. If you ever did fall in, that thing's probably got 10 feet of muck and sticks and grossness. You wouldn't be able to swim out of it. It's not like if you fall in the water. So these were all very reasonable things for me, and so I thought, well, shoot, back to the drawing board. Well, the next day before school, my dad woke me up at like 5:30 in the morning with enough time, and he said, hey. And I said, what? He said, let's go cross the swamp.
Yeah, now
And
it's
so-
dark. It's way better.
Now it's not dark. It was right at sunrise.
Okay.
And so we went out there, and together we took turns. He was right behind me the whole time, and we went across this tree, weaving around the branches and over the swamp. And that me was an adventure swamp, because I went to school that day with a story like no other. It's possible, knowing the dangers that Dad had already laid out the day before, that in the telling of the story, he may have fallen in and I may have saved him. I don't remember how I told the story to my friends, but this was a huge accomplishment to me, and Dad was the one who provided, and he's the only one who could have. But dads, they do that, but they also miss the mark sometimes. I remember when I was a kid, my dad had a motorcycle. He was a cool dad. He had a motorcycle, and I had my first bike. And in my head, my bike was my motorcycle. Me and my dad had
Your bicycle.
Yes, we had the same thing. In my mind, my bicycle was my motorcycle. Dad's motorcycle was his bicycle. And I wasn't allowed to ride on the street. I was probably only 5 or 6. And but he was riding home one time, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come out on the street where I'm not allowed to ride? Why don't you come out on the street and we'll ride together down the street?" For a moment, riding down the street, where I'd never ridden before, me and my dad were in a 2-man motorcycle gang. And I swelled, and I was living this moment. And I had remembered seeing another guy riding a bike, and he was an older kid, and he had a bigger bike. And when he would ride, he would stand up, and he would rock as he pedaled, see the bike rock back and forth. And in that moment of riding with my dad, I thought, and I'm going to ride like the big kids.
I can do anything.
And so I took my pedals, and I started to rock my bike back and forth, mimicking what I had seen the older kid do. And my dad, thinking all of a sudden, for no reason, my son's just become unstable on his bike, reached away from his motorcycle, grabbed my handlebars, which I don't know why he's touching my handlebars, so I stopped pedaling as fast, and he's moving, and basically made me fall on the middle of the street. And I remember I'm only like 6 years old, and I was skinned, and I was crying, and I was embarrassed, and I'm like, what the hell? I mean, from my perspective, I'm having this moment riding in the street with my motorcycle and Dad with his motorcycle, and I'm riding like a big kid, and all of a sudden, for no reason, my dad just reaches over and throws me off my bike. And he apologized, and he thought he was just going to stable me because he thought in my mind, I was looking like a big kid. He just saw me going, like I was losing control of my bike. As we get older, circumstances become more clear to us. The skin knees from grabbing our handlebars, become different situations that are bigger, and that the wounds of a skin knee become harder to heal because they're not just our knee anymore. Then Hallmark comes along, or whoever, in 1972, and decides that since we have a Mother's Day, let's make a day where people can get all mushy with their dads too. You think blaming Hallmark is a cynical view. I don't know that Hallmark did it. But I can assure you that the idea of a Father's Day, like to mirror a Mother's Day, did not come up with kids. And I'll bet you it wasn't come up by a father either.
It was Thai companies that started it.
It was not kids or dads. That's pretty sure. What's more, we're too old to get out the crayons and the glue and the macaroni, and we've got a fridge of our own anyway. So what are you supposed to do on Father's Day? Well, if you have a dad who was ever your hero, whoever walked you across the adventure swamp, then let's give Dad a reason to roll his eyes and not roll our eyes and miss a potential opportunity for one more lasting memory. This has been the Dummy Load, June 13th, 2014. We will see you next week. So, Mark doesn't know how to stop it.
Help me! A little after show, since we didn't
Yeah.
have a pre-show.
Don't knock your kid off your bike is what he's
Also,
trying to
I
say.
blew your pictures because I showed one, but because I didn't
You were gonna put that on there.
We're still putting it on there. Boom! It's up there.
Man, you made me slow.
All right. So let me get to where we can stop this. We're still live. Careful. Don't get all cash yet.